Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to the stream. If you're watching this live, make sure to like the stream, subscribe if you're new and all that. And if you're watching it later and you're here after, hello, make sure you do also like the video, subscribe, and do all that stuff. So we're going to start off today with we're going to start different. We're not going to start off with the game, because I do want to get into the game, but I want that to be the main part, so I'm going to make that the last part. We're going to start with transfer news that we've actually heard. So you've heard a couple of things in the transfer front. I'm going to start off with something that doesn't involve Leeds United, but it kind of does, because it's about El Kanous, who we've been linked with for a while, which isn't happening now, in my opinion. Well, it's not happening. We're not getting El Kanous, obviously. We're not getting El Kanous. Just need to make sure the audio is working, boys. Let me just make sure. Okay, it's working. Okay, so we've heard a couple of things in the transfers. With El Kanous is the first thing. His transfer is currently on hold. The situation is tense between Crystal Palace and Leicester City, which is complicating negotiations that were already at an advanced stage. El Kanous made his intentions clear. He wants to leave Leicester, and it looks like he wants to go to Palace. But at the moment, Palace are still trying to get it done. So what if that falls through? Do Leeds United swoop in and try and get El Kanous again if that doesn't work? Like, if Leicester don't agree with what Palace are offering, or Leicester don't agree with anything that Palace are offering and they want more, or whatever, could Leeds United swoop in and take El Kanous? Like, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I don't think we will get him. That's the thing. I don't think we'll get him, but there is a bit of a possibility that maybe it could happen. So yeah, that's the update on El Kanous. Basically, is Palace want him. He wants to go to Palace, it looks like, because he wants to leave and play in the Premier League and not the Championship. And yeah, they're in advanced stages, and it's kind of fell through a little bit, but it looks like they'll still get him. I think they'll still get him. I think he still goes to Palace. But yeah, that's the update on El Kanous. The next update, actually, which one should we go with? Let's start with the news that we heard before, like yesterday, before yesterday's game. So before yesterday's game, Tagliafieri came out and said Leeds United are now leading the race for Bakwa. Leeds United are ready now to meet Racing Strasbourg expectations, which around 35 million euros. To make a deal happen. Nottingham Forest has not left, but the newly promoted are now ahead. So we are ahead in the race to sign Bakwa. We are saying that we will meet the asking price of 35 million, but it's still ongoing, which means Leeds United have done as much as they can, or we have done as much as we can to get him. It seems similar. It seems like it's happening again, but it feels like we have done enough. So I don't want to hear fans on Twitter, especially. I mean, they probably will still, but I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, see, Fark doesn't have the pull. Nah. They don't want to play under Fark," because it's legit. It's the same thing happening again. We've reached the price that they want, but Forest might come in with the exact same price, and he might go, "I want to go to Forest because they're playing in Europe while we're playing in the Championship." Oh, sorry, we're playing in the Premier League, but they're playing in European football. My brain just, yeah, but they're playing in Europe. So there is that thing of, he'll probably most likely, as a player, you want to play in Europe. You want to play in European competitions. You want to play in the Europa League. So I could see him being like, I would go to Leeds, but if Forest want me and Forest are asking for the exact same price and you're willing to accept it, I want to go to Forest ahead of Leeds. And then it got updated a bit later saying Nottingham Forest remain close to Bakwa and is fighting to close the gap with Leeds United. Leeds United with Strasbourg. Things will change in the coming days. So yeah, it's going to be basically happening in the coming days. We'll find out what's going to happen. We really need a player we need Bakwa. We kind of do need him on the wing, because you look at the winger situation we have, and we'll get into the performance. It's Arsenal, so I'm calm. Like, we versus a top team that's going to be fighting for the league. But we do need another winger in like a Bakwa or something, because at the moment you look at the winger situation and you go, Nonto, I think he's good, but still there's things that I look at his game and I'm like, he doesn't run at players. Okafor did that when he first came on, but then the ball just got left behind him, but I'm not going to have a go at him for that because he just came on at 4-0. You look at the other wingers we have, we got Nonto, we got Okafor, we got James, we got Aronson, and we got Harrison. I like Aronson and Harrison for their defensive work, which is why it's confusing me, because I think he should have started at least one of Harrison or Aronson, probably Harrison, because it would have been more the left wing against Arsenal because of their defensive work. But it would be nice to get another winger in, and it would be nice. Yeah, I think we do need another winger. And if we can get Bakwa in, if we don't get Bakwa in, there is a worry of like, who do we go for next? Because we can't get El Kanous because Crystal Palace want him, and the Crystal Palace are in advanced talks with him. And then you got Bakwa. If we don't get him, we're basically left with the wingers that we have. unless there's another option that we haven't heard of that we can go in for. But at the moment, it's looking like this is, I'm not going to say it is our final option, but like for a top player or someone that I think could be a top player and will be a top player if they came here for us. Yeah, there is a bit of a worry for me with that I think if we don't manage to get him, there could be a bit of worries. But yeah, so the update is basically Bakwa basically, Forest still want him. Leeds United are ahead of Forest at the moment, but Forest could catch up, and the next coming days will tell what's going to happen with Bakwa and if he'll come to Leeds or he'll go to Forest. So we'll find out the next coming days what's going to be happening with that, and that's the update on those two. Now, the next one is something that we got today. Valencia entered talks with Leeds United to secure the free loan with a buy option for Largi Ramazani. Spanish club are willing to cover Ramazani's salary, but wants to negotiate a free loan along with the purchase option in return. Leeds United want a loan fee. Negotiations ongoing. So the Spanish club are willing to cover Ramazani's salary, but want to negotiate a free loan. Okay, so they're willing to cover the salary. Okay, that just confused me, that sentence, for a minute. But yeah, so Ramazani looks like he might be going on loan. Now, I wouldn't give them an option to buy. I would just send him out on loan. Try and send him out on loan somewhere where there is no option or obligation to buy. Because I feel like he could be used in the future. I don't think he's good enough now, in my opinion. Look, I think Ramazani has the ability to get to a top level and has the ability to become a top player. Because you can see that when he has the ball at his feet. The problem is Fark doesn't rate him, which is fair, because it's fair. It is fair, because you got Nonto, Harris. I know people don't like Harrison, but as I talk about with Harrison, is his defensive work, though, something that Ramazani doesn't have. But yeah, now that we got Okafor. Okafor's signing basically was the replacement for Ramazani. You could see that now. I mean, I saw that when he first signed. I was like, yeah, this is the replacement for Ramazani. Okafor comes in, Ramazani goes out on loan. I already saw this happening. And if Ramazani stays, like people that are angry, and it confused me, because if Ramazani does stay, let's just say he did stay, he's not going to get on the pitch at all, because he's behind Okafor, he's behind Nonto, and he's behind Harrison. He wouldn't get on the pitch anyway. So you'd rather a player, just because you like him, be on the bench all the time than a player that goes out and plays football, on loan. As I said, I don't want him to have an obligation or an option to buy, but it looks like we are willing to give them an option to buy after the loan, which is something that I didn't really want to see. But yeah, that's the update basically on all the news. So Ramazani basically looks like he's going out on loan. And we'll see if he's got it. We'll see how good he actually is. You know what I mean? It's one of those where he'll go out on loan and we'll see how good he actually is. Because the way our fans talk about him is like he's the second coming. So we'll find out about that when that happens. And we'll find out all about all that stuff and see if him leaving and see how good he does out on loan, because I think he does leave now. Now let's get into the performance in the game. Let's get into Leeds United versus Arsenal, the 5-0 defeat. Now let's go in and start off with what Fark had to say after the game. So Fark started off by saying, fair to say they deserved to win with a big goal difference, 5 shots on target, and they scored all of them. When they are on it, one of the best in Europe. It's always difficult for a newly promoted side. We started nervous and survived this period. I agree with the whole thing about it's going to be very tough to beat a team that's one of the best teams in Europe. They are one of the best teams in Europe. But the problem with me is you start Pirro up front, who doesn't have the ability to hold up the ball. You say that they were always going to have the ball, they were always going to be the better team. Then why don't you start Harrison, who's a defensive winger, who I think we should have started with? Because later on in the game, I know Harrison didn't actually come on, but Aronson came on and actually looked all right. I thought Aronson actually looked good when he came on. He was pressing well. He kind of brought something that I think we were missing, and game state and all that late on in the game, we've already played, the players are tired, they're slowing down, it's 4-0 at the stage, so maybe you can't read into that much, but I thought Aronson was pressing very well when he came on, and pressing more than a lot of than the other players were, like then your Nontos, then your Jameses, then your Pirros, of course. But yeah, I thought he actually started pressing them, which is something that's good, But yeah, they are one of the best teams in Europe, so I do think we should have played a bit more. I don't think it would have changed anything. That's another thing. I don't think it would. I think we still would have lost. I don't think it would change anything. But it was that bit of me of like, you said it was going to be hard. You said we were going to have to play defensive. You said we were nervous. Then why start? I understand you need outlets, but you need someone to hold up the ball up front to let the outlets go in Mecha. Mention would have been nice. But there is a bit of problem with that. I know a lot of people are going on about Gruev. I think there'll probably be something written here about that, but I feel for Gruev because he made one mistake, and to be honest, there was other players in that team that were just as bad, if not worse, that are getting less stick. Like Stack, I thought he was terrible. I thought Stack was awful. I thought he lost the ball more than Gruev, but Gruev lost the ball, and it got highlighted more because it cost us a goal because they scored from it. So it was highlighted more than Stack's mistakes, but I don't think I thought Grove was better than Stack, to be honest, in that performance. Yeah, I think we'll probably get into that. What else did Vark have to say? Bit annoying how we conceded the goals. Timber between my centre halves, conceding in an addition added time. 2, scored from a difficult angle. Penalty looks soft. When everything comes together for them, it's always difficult. Not a season-defining game for us. So let's go through like the goals, I guess. So a bit annoying to concede the goals. Okay, which I can agree with. Timber between my centre halves. Again, I rewatched that and it looks like Strauch's a bit weak. Like he gets 2 hands in his back, and I feel like once he's felt the touch, he's tried to dive. He's tried to jump forward and dive. Rodon gets beat too easily. I think Rodon's got to be quicker. You can look at Greer for cutting inside a bit because he's on the post, and then he moves more towards the keeper. But here's that thing of like if Timber heads it and it doesn't go in the corner, it goes between the keeper and Gruev. Everyone's going, why didn't Gruev move over? So it's one of those where you can't really. But if Gruev doesn't move from where he is on the post, he probably blocks it on the line. But it's one of, as I said, it is one of those of if he doesn't move, fans are saying, why the hell didn't he move? So it is one of those like damned if you do, damned if you don't. That was the first goal. Conceding in an added time. Grav does well to win the ball back at first, and then he's pressed very well, and he has no one really to pass to. He should have passed straight away. I agree with this. He won the ball back well, and he should have just laid off. I can't remember. I think it might have been Stack. I can't remember who was. Like there was like two players like right next to him. He should have just passed, but instead he tries to turn. And once he tries to turn, he just gets pressed where he just has to let it just get the ball out, and there was no one to pass to on that left side. So he's basically just passed straight to them, and they get him, and they score from it. The angle where Sakurachi scored from is pretty similar to how he scored the winner against us last time in the Premier League at Ellen Road, where Rodriguez flew through kicked the ball down one side to the other, remember, and Saka went in. It was a pretty similar angle. But yeah, so that was that goal, which was annoying. The penalty looked soft, not for me. I'm sorry, that penalty was not soft for me. I don't think the penalty looked soft at all. It was. Stack stood on his foot. Stood on his foot. He stood on it. It's a penalty. It's not soft at all. He fully stepped on his foot. When everything comes together for them, it's always difficult. Not a season. And I agree with the last bit. It's not a season-defining game. These games aren't the ones that are going to define our season. The games that are going to define our season is Sunderland, Burnley, Wolves, West Ham. You look at teams, like I'm looking at teams right now. Brentford, probably another team in there. These lower mid-table to relegation battling teams that we have to beat. They're the games that are going to define our season. We realistically, no one ever thought we were going to win this game as well. That's another thing. Then Falkner went on to say, we have not lost in preseason, which is fair. We drew all 3, and then we won the other 2 behind closed doors. Did not lose a match. Did not lose much last season. Yeah, we went on and got 100 points. We didn't lose many matches last season. People still wanted the manager sacked. So the agendas are always going to be there with Fark, even if all the Fark outers were hiding in their little holes, and then once we lost, they all come out. It's Arsenal and you want him sacked. Just so dumb. But if you play in the best league, days like this can happen. True. I think we'll have more like this, honestly. I'm not saying I want it to happen. Of course I don't want it to happen, but I could see us getting beat 4+ goals by Liverpool. You know, you look at Liverpool. Newcastle when we go to St James's Park. Not at Ellen Road. I don't think that'll happen at Ellen Road. But at St James's Park, that could happen. You know, your Liverpools, your Man Cities. They could absolutely batter us. You know, Chelsea. I know, you know, they just put 5 past West Ham, who I think have been awful at the start of the season. But they could beat us by a lot. Like, these things are going to happen. I think we're going to have a couple of more of these. Not many, of course, but I think we're going to have 3, maybe 2 or 3 more of these type of performances where we get absolutely battered. It's going to happen throughout the season. We just got to make sure we don't lose our heads, and it's one loss and people are already losing their heads. Must not dwell on it. At 4-0, we stuck together with the subs and did not allow them more. Chances I like our mentality at 4-0 down. I mean, you should have started Metcha, because once he came on, you saw what he offered that we needed. The one man up front that's going to, try and bully Gabriel and Saliba. That's actually, the first thing he did, bang, right into Gabriel. That's something that Pirro doesn't do. He doesn't have that strength. Holds up the ball at times. I'm like, wow, we have an outlet up top. Something that we needed throughout the game that we didn't have with Pirro up front, which is why you should have started Metcha. So that's a managerial mistake. The one mistake I say Fark made was not starting Metcha. I also think he should have started Harrison, but Nonto actually played well when he did play. He did well defensively, is what I want to say. He did well defensively, which is why I would have started Harrison, because I didn't think Nonto would be that good defensively, but he showed me you can do that defensive work, and you did a decent job at it in this game, which is why I'm not mad at that, but I would have started Harrison. But yeah, it's one of those of, it proved me like, okay, Nonto was the right decision, but that man up front in Pirro was not. You should have started Metcha. Daniel Fark, this does not impact transfers though. Transfer thoughts, which is true. I mean, I hope it doesn't. I hope we don't lose one game in the club, go paddy pack and just buy a bunch of players. Another winger or fullback would not have impacted this game. I mean, that's true. Wouldn't have impacted in the way of we would have won at all. What am I up to? Would not have impacted the game. I mean, you wouldn't have started any other fullback. You would have started Bogle and Goodmanson. You would have started. The only change I would have made is, as I said, Jack Harrison. But besides that, it would have been the same. There are teams with a better individual quality than us. Yes, Arsenal have way more individual more quality than us. I think like one of their players is worth like 3 of our players. Our entire transfer window. One of their players is costs the exact same as our entire transfer window. You look at that and you go, yeah, duh, they have way better players. Always difficult. You need everything to come together for us to have a chance. That's one thing. Against the top teams, you need everything to come together. You need a 10 out of 10 performance. And I was thinking this. I would rather us have a 10 out of 10 performance against a Wolves, a West Ham, even the teams up in the mid-table, like your Bournemouth. I would rather that than a 10 out of 10 performance against like a Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. Because you look at those games, right? You can have a 10 out of 10 performance and still lose 2-1, 3-1. Like those games you can have a great performance and still lose. But when you have a 10 out of 10 performance against mid-table, lower mid-table teams, relegation battling teams, you'll most likely win those games because those teams don't have the quality of like the goalkeeper like Raya that could, even if we do get in behind, save everything. Daniel Fark then spoke on Ramazani for one last thing. It was due to Okafor coming in. Not against Largy, Nonto was going to start, so Nonto was always going to start. So this is where I want to talk about Harrison a bit. It was due to Okafor coming in, which is why Ramazani wasn't in the squad. So Okafor basically, that's Fark saying Okafor's taken his spot, which is fair. Not against Largy. Nonto was always going to start because I think he had a good game against Everton, and he was never going to drop Nonto. Jack Harrison is the hard worker as a defensive winger. Jack Harrison is let me read that again. Jack Harrison is a hard worker as a defensive winger. So when you're coming against Arsenal, why do you not play the defensive winger? I don't understand that. Why do you not play the defensive winger against Arsenal, who are going to attack us most of the game? And as I said, Nonto did play well. But if you're saying that Jack Harrison is our defensive winger, you don't start the defensive winger against a team like Arsenal? That's the bit that confuses me. You don't start the defensive winger against Arsenal, who are going to have most of the ball, and we're going to have to do a lot of defensive work. That sentence just confuses the hell out of me, because wouldn't you want to start the defensive winger against a very good attacking team, that's going to have everyone going forward and going to have all these players? But yeah, so that was all that Fark had to say. But yeah, it's a performance where we lost 5-0, look, and we'll move on to the next game, which is a cup game. We've got a cup game against Sheffield Wednesday. And then after that, we got Newcastle, so at home as well. So I don't think, realistically, when we saw the fixtures, what did we realistically expect? We probably everyone that predicted how many points we'll get in the first 3 would have said 1 or 3. They would have said we either draw against Everton or we beat Everton, but we lose the other 2. Now, I think the best we could have, when I looked at it, I said the best we could have got was 4 points. 3 to 4 points is the best we could have got, which in my opinion was beating Everton, drawing against Newcastle. That was the best I could see happening. It could still happen. Like at Ellen Road, we could get a point at Ellen Road against Newcastle, who haven't started the season well, don't have a striker. They've got Gordon up front. Like it's not going to be an easy, it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game for Newcastle. I think we're going to be good defensively in that game, hopefully. The other news that I did hear, but I haven't heard it from like a source, like I haven't heard it come out like confirmed that it's true, but Tanaka might be injured. So let me just get it up for a second. Let me read it. Let me just see it, sorry. So Japanese Football on Twitter, who is an account that talks about like all the Japanese footballers, said Ayo Tanaka picked up an injury after a tackle in the first half. I think I meant to say in the first half against Arsenal yesterday, but still played on until the 60th minute. So the club are hoping is not serious. I've lost count of the number of injuries this season. Yeah, so it looks like Tanaka might have an injury. I think the YAP reported it as well. So we're hoping Tanaka's not out, because that will be a massive worry. You know, you don't have Tanaka. Who do you start? Longstaff. So that Longstaff will come in there. So we'll start with a midfield of Stack, Gruev, and Longstaff. We can go through a couple of players. I want to start off with Gruev. Gruev's one of the players that I do want to start off with. I just feel like he's getting all the hate, like it was all his fault, like he was the worst player on the pitch. I don't think he was that bad. That might be mad. I don't think he was that bad. I'm going to compare his stats to Anton Stack, who people have not criticised. And look, when a player plays bad, you criticise their performance. It goes too far sometimes, but you can criticise all performances, no matter if they're new signings or not. But they both played 90 minutes, so that's fair. We won't look at the shooting stats because that's stupid. Touches. Stack had 35 touches. Gruev had 41. So Gruev had more touches. Accurate passes. Stack had 21 out of 25. Gruev had 34 out of 37. So Stack had an 84% passing accuracy, while Gruev had a 92. Key passes. Stack had 3. Gruev had 0. Crosses. Stack had 3. Gruev didn't cross. Of course, Gruev wouldn't cross because he's playing in the 6. 3 crosses, 1 was successful, 1 was accurate. Long balls, both had 1 long ball each, and they were both accurate. Fox said in his interview after did he? About Tanaka? Yeah. Hopefully he's fit. Hopefully Tanaka is fit for the next game. Hopefully it's one of those where it's just a little injury where it's not, I think it's hopefully it's not a long injury. If he is out, hopefully it's not one of those where he's going to be out for a while. We got the international break coming up as well, don't we, after Newcastle? So that's good. As long as we get the international break done, and then he's fine. Like, if he's fit after the international break, it will be fine. If he's only missing for 1 game, that's probably good, to be honest. Thank God it'll only be 1 game, but just hope it's not. We just have to hope it's not a long injury. What do we want to go back here? Ground. So back in, we'll go down to duels. Ground duels. Gruev won 1 out of 3. Stack won 5 out of 7. What else was here? Possession lost. Stack lost the ball 7 times. Gruev lost it 4. Stack made 2 fouls. One of them was a penalty. He was fouled 3 times. Gruev was 0-0. Gruev had 1 block shot, 1 interception, 1 total tackles, and dribble passed only once. Stack was 1 clearance, 2 tackles, 1 error lean to a shot, and a penalty committed. I think Gruev gets a lot of hate because MCL like Ampadu's. Okay. So it shouldn't be long, that means, right? Like if it's like Ampadu's, and Ampadu's supposed to be back after the international break. So hopefully they're both back after the international break. That'd be good. Both back after the international break. And they're both back in the team for Fulham. Yeah, we got Fulham after the international break. Which, again, that's one of those games where you could get 3 points. No, it's not guaranteed, of course, because Fulham are a good team. But maybe a point. A point against Fulham would be a good result. 3 points would be a great result. But, these are the teams that we have to try and beat. The teams that are going to be upper mid-table. You beat some of them. You won't beat all of them. Fulham, we're going to need probably our best team to versus Fulham. And it'll be nice. Hopefully we see Tanaka available and Ampadu. Ampadu should be back. Based on what we've heard, Ampadu should be back. So that'll be good if we can get both of them. But yeah, the performance-wise, we were just... I mean, the first 30 minutes, right? The first 30 minutes, I thought we were brilliant. I thought we maybe brilliant's a bit of a stretch, but I thought we did everything right in that first 30 minutes. Everything was right. We defended very well. We didn't let them have any shots. I think the XG was 0 at the time. We were better than them. Defending very well. Then we had the best chance of the game, the Strauch header. If he headers to either side of the goal, it's in the back of the net, but he heads it straight. It's not an easy header, of course, to direct it to the sides, but he's hit it straight down the middle, and Raya, that's an easy save for him. I thought early on as well, Dan James was, of course, going to be the only outlet we had, and I thought he was good on the counter. There was like a couple of times early on where we got him on the ball. Out wide. He had 2 shots. I think they were both blocked, though, so they didn't even end up going to the keeper. But I thought Dan James in that performance was our outlet, and we didn't utilize that enough. I didn't think we utilized that enough. We utilized it early on, but like early on we did it like twice, and then we kind of didn't do it for the rest of the game. Like, I don't blame Dan James for his poor performance. Well, I mean, he wasn't even poor, but I don't blame him for that performance when the ball doesn't get to him. You know, if you start with Metcha, you could have Metcha hold the ball up, bang, ball in behind for Dan James. You know, attempt those kind of things. With Pirro was playing left back sometimes. Pirro was playing left back, so he pushed up to left back at some points and was trying to play 1-2s. You don't do that against Arsenal. You don't play 1-2s. You should have a striker like Metcha, because you hoof the ball up and you hoof it up and he tries to hold it up. That should have been the game plan. So Farke got that completely wrong. And I hate the whole, just because Farke got this game wrong, it means he's tactically inept, because he's changed tactics this season already by changing our formation to a 4-3-3. He's already proved that he changes formations. And he's going to I think next game against Newcastle, he's going to change individuals. I think Metcha comes in and starts against Newcastle. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Okafor starts on the left, and then I think James will stay on the right. I think James does stay on the right because he's the outlet. Every game, he's going to be the outlet. You know, so we're going to use Metcha as like a hold-up play, and then you can have James and Okafor on either wing trying to be that outlet that we're going to need. I predicted a 2-0 loss yesterday, so the score line isn't what's bothering me. It's the players picked and our left back getting skinned by a Yeah, I mean, Dalman's a brilliant footballer. I know he's 15, but he is a brilliant footballer. He's going to be he has a bright future ahead of him. You know, I don't blame Goodmanson for that. I mean, Stack's got to do better for not stepping on his foot. Yeah, as I said, the lineup got it wrong. Metcha should have started up top. I would have started Harrison. I guess in hindsight, people will say, oh, I should have started B.O. in hindsight, because Strauch was awful in this game. I mean, that fourth goal just made me laugh, because Strauch for that fourth goal is so weak. He's so weak for that fourth goal, Strauch. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what are you doing, Strauch? I've seen pictures that it was a handball, but it doesn't really bother me because we would have lost anyway. And you got to do better in that situation. You got to do way better when the ball's there. He looks so weak in that situation. He looked very weak there. But yeah, I'm still excited for the season. Look, I still back us to have a good season. I still back us to stay up. I still think we're gonna have a good season. We're gonna beat the teams that we have to beat, or get a point against the teams that we can't lose to. I think we're gonna have a good season. Look, I still trust Farke. It's one loss, and hopefully in next game, I mean, the game against Newcastle, we'll see if Farke's learned. Will he change it up? Will he start Okafor on the left? Will he start Metcha up top? Will he, you know, maybe he changes it a bit? You're going to probably have Longstaff in for Tanaka with his injury. The back four will probably change with, I mean, the back four will stay the same besides Strauch, which will probably be B-Old against Newcastle. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say B.Old's this amazing player, because people were talking like he's our best centre-back, but people were saying like, oh, why didn't you start B.Old best centre-back? But again, it's that new shiny toy thing of like, new signing, he must be better than what we've already got. But yeah, Strauch was awful. B.O. definitely will come in, and we'll see how good he is. Perry worries me, and I've said this already in preseason. I've said this throughout preseason. Perry worries the hell out of me with the ball at his feet. He just looks very nervous and very scared when the ball is at his feet. He scares the hell out of me. Like, the ball's at his feet, and I'm just like, just boot it away, because you're going to hold it too long and you're going to lose it. So yeah, but overall, Bad performance, 5-0 loss. But hey, we're on 3 points. At least we beat Everton. Hopefully we can take that confidence. Maybe we can take some confidence into Newcastle when we beat Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup. I'll be doing a preview to that. I will be doing a preview. I don't know when that will come out. Maybe tomorrow. I don't really know. It'll probably be just a quick preview, just who I think we'll line up with. Because I don't really care, to be honest. If we lose, we lose, to be honest. I'd rather us be out the Cups, to be honest. This season, I'd rather us not be in the Cups. Like, until we become, like, established in the Premier League, until we become a team that's established in a way of, like, yeah, we're not getting relegated, I couldn't care about the Cups. Like, just there's kind of more of a distraction. Should we just get knocked out and just not have that, you know, and, you know, so we don't have to play midweek and then play against because we've got to play midweek and then Newcastle, so I think there'll be a totally different lineup. My starting 11 for Wednesday in the Cup is Darlow, Byram, Bornau, Beal, Goodmanson, Longstaff, Gruev, Stark, Okafor, Nonto, Metro. Probably something like that. I think it'll be something like that. Maybe, yeah, I think it will be something like that. I'm trying to think who else could come in. But no, I think, yeah, that's probably going to be the lineup, right? I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that could. Maybe Harrison starts on one of the wings. Maybe Fark goes with Harrison, Aronson on the wings. Depending on what he wants to do. Does he want to save some of the... Depending on which players he thinks can play the Cup and then play in the league the next game, does he want to rest some of the players? I think Okafor does start, by the way. I think Okafor will start because he needs minutes getting to know his new teammates in the new team and the system and all that, getting to learn on the pitch. It'll be good for him to play like a full 90, hopefully. I think he'll play the full 90, which will be good for him to get to know the system on the pitch more before we play Newcastle. Probably goes Metro up top as well, and he should start Metro up top against Newcastle. I think Dan James gets a rest. I could see Dan James getting a rest. Probably Nonto. Maybe not even Nonto. Maybe he goes with a Harrison or an Aronson, whichever one he wants to go with, one of them. Maybe he goes with one of them, which I'll be fine with for the Cup game against Sheffield Wednesday. I think we win that game, by the way. I think we win it, even if we play a bunch of our bench players. We got a big enough squad. We got a good enough squad to win that game. I think we will. And yeah, so we just have to move on from this game, basically. We just have to move on. Next game is against Newcastle in the league. Yeah, I'm actually excited for that game back at Ellen Road. And yeah, it's one of those games where you verse the top teams, you got to move on when you get a result like this. So yeah, if you guys like the stream, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new, I'm going to head out, and I'll catch you guys probably tomorrow.